But when the cost of robotics comes down and just AI is getting plugged into every robot, accountants, lawyers, radiologists, customer service, data entry, middle management, things that don't require a specialized skill where you have to use your hands and you're just using your brains and typing on a keyboard, those are the jobs that are going to go first.
Whoa, 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 and welcome to Unbreakable.
Today's a very special day because I'm going to introduce you to a gentleman who will at some point be known as one of the godfathers of AI. Now that sounds pretty crazy. I know Jeff would love to hear that. Jeff J. Hunter is one of the most knowledgeable guys in AI these days, and I got to tell you, every time I have a chat with him, every time we talk, every time I see him on stage, there's something that's new that I didn't know. I thought that I was in the know. So you guys are going to be in for a treat today. And we're going to be talking specifically about the numbers. Okay. Why 40% of jobs are going to be gone by 2030, maybe more. And what's this UBI thing, this universal basic income? Is this the answer? And I have some very strong feelings about this. And Jeff and I have talked behind the scenes a number of times. And I wanted to have those conversations now in public because this is stuff that you need to hear and you need to hear it now. So, Jeff, welcome.
Great to be here. And by the way, you're in the know. We just know other things. That's all.
Well, ask me stuff about drums. Like, I got you. Right.
Yeah, I think people are finally waking up to the fact that wow, AI is actually getting really good and it can do my job. Like I get really frustrated when I hear people like even NVIDIA's Jensen, like when he's famous for saying that phrase, like it's not AI that's gonna replace your job, it's the person using AI. It's like, no, no, AI can absolutely do your job. Like it's coming for you. And I think like right now it's a really important time to get ahead of it. And whether you're a business owner or maybe you have a job that you're at risk of losing because of AI, as the old saying, the old GI Joe motto goes, knowing is half the battle.
That's a reference from way back. I like that
Hey,
one.
GI Joe.
Exactly. Um, so these numbers, like I heard a long time ago, was like maybe up to 30% of numbers. Now it's 40%, 50%, 60%. I think it's going to be higher than that because the way that AGI is moving, or it's coming very quickly, I think AGI is either already here and we just don't know about it, or it's going to be here so soon that everyone is going to be caught off guard. I mean, do you think 40% of jobs are going to literally be displaced? Do you think it's going to be higher or lower than that?
The estimates now is that internationally, globally, 40%. And I also think it's going to be it's going to affect certain industries more than others. Like obviously, call centers are going to be heavily impacted. I mean, AI is you call any major brand right now, it's already an AI that's answering the call, right? So I would say that we have a pretty good possibility that uh, let me paint this picture, and it's not very far away. 2030 is 5 years away, and that's what that
Less than
estimate is.
that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be less than that
Yeah.
because the technology is rapidly getting better and easily trained. Like it takes me 10 minutes to train AI, what it would take me like a week or two to train a human to do. And that's just internationally, like that's just a fact. Like, and the crazy part is, it's not just low skilled jobs. As a matter of fact, I'd have to say, in person, and not saying that this is low skill, but this like trade jobs, like plumbers and dentists and things like that, like their special skills set where you use your hands and your abilities, like that's going to be the safest jobs right now because the cost of robotics is still high. But when the cost of robotics comes down and just AI is getting plugged into every robot, that's also going to be a threat. So, accountants, lawyers, radiologists, customer service, data entry, middle management, things that don't require a specialized skill where you have to use your hands and you're just using your brains and typing on a keyboard, those are the jobs that are going to go first.
Even musicians, my first thought was like, there's some technical stuff. Like you're like a musician for plumbing. It could be very similar, right? But musicians, after I got to use Suno and created a song for my girlfriend to get me out of a bad situation where I forgot her birthday.
Oh my
Um,
god. You are a bad,
worked,
bad boy.
worked, it worked. Um, I
Hey,
was
but
just like,
all of you hold out. To all of you hopeless people like me who always forget the dates of everything, there is still hope. George proved it.
there is Suno, right? For $10 a month, you can get yourself out of a jam, right? But if you want to own that song, you got to keep paying them $10 a month in perpetuity, which creates a very unique business model, which is
Interesting.
another thing I want to talk with you about for a second, Jeff.
Mhm.
You mentioned like plumbers and tradespeople; those are going to be the last ones impacted, probably, or close to the last, maybe not the absolute last.
Yeah.
But I think that anyone who doesn't have any kind of a monthly recurring revenue, income, affiliate program, like business, like if you're not generating monthly recurring revenue, like you're walking the tightrope at this point in time because anything could go wrong and you've lost your job, especially if you're working for somebody else,
Yeah.
because they could lay you off in a second once they find a better solution, it's cheaper, or maybe their shareholders chose to lay you off. Maybe the CEO is actually a really good person and a humanitarian, but that doesn't matter if you gave your company away to the shareholders.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest problems right now is just the speed of what AI is doing. I know we talked a little bit about it, but like if you think about the last mass job displacement, it was the Industrial Revolution. Like that was switching from someone who was crafting and making a toy by hand to someone pressing a button and watching the factory go along and do it all, right? That replaced a ton of labor, and if you remember, that's what ushered in the Industrial Revolution, ushered in our first, welfare system, right? We had Franklin Roosevelt who started this, and I know that that's a mixed bag on that. I know for me personally, I'm an individualist. I believe in personal responsibility. I feel like we as a community need to support our friends, our neighbors, our families. Maybe we have government rework programs, but that took, if you think about it, the Industrial Revolution took decades to happen because the factories had to be retrofitted, they had to be built. So there were decades of of gradual job displacement, whereas what AI is doing right now is years, not decades, years. It's happening so fast, and anybody who's telling you basically that don't worry, uh you're gonna find new work and stuff, and like no, like AI is not going to create a bunch of jobs. Yes, it will technically create jobs. Well, I don't say it's going to create jobs. It's going to create opportunities. Okay, it's going to create opportunities for us to monetize, but it's not going to create jobs faster than the jobs are being replaced right now.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. When the crypto thing is pumping, then like everyone's a crypto bro, everyone's a crypto expert, right? And I would say since about April of last year, everyone's an AI bro now. Like I've seen marketers, people that actually did really, really well, like they had multi-million dollar, eight-figure businesses, and now all of a sudden they're AI experts because they spent, a few weeks or a month trying to figure some stuff out, and they've wrapped a piece of software in AI or something like that, which is nothing really unique. It's just like a micro SaaS is what we call that, micro software as a service. And man, I think that they're on a sinking ship, because eventually AI is going to be able to do all of that stuff. There is no more micro SaaSes.
I think that people they just want results, and they're going to find what the solution gives them the result. One of the big advantages that we have as marketers is that we have really great data, you know? Um, but there will become a time where the AI just gobbles up all the data and it knows how to process and knows what to use. And like right now, the people that are doing the best is because they have, like, for example, my AI copywriter, which to this day I still not found, and I'm open to hearing from other people. I'm up to even doing a contest, you know, like beat my AI. Like AI just wrote me a Facebook post about my own assistant who got stuck in. You know what? I am going to share my screen. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
So here's my own personal Facebook account. 99% of my content is AI. You can see right here, just in the past 28 days, I normally average, which is crazy. I get 50 to 300,000 views, you know, but today I got 3.3 million views. And why? From a post that AI wrote 100% right here. Let me show you my post here. Let's see. So this whole post here is written by AI and it's been trained on how I write. This is how I write. And it wrote this post. This post got 20,000 likes, 2,600 shares. If I click on my insights here, you're going to see there's actually more. So it's got 27,000 likes. That's crazy. And it's 100% written by AI, right? Let me stop sharing because you get the idea. The point
It's
here,
just all organic.
100% organic. Yeah. And it's just from me writing a Facebook post, posting it, and then just letting the algorithm do its thing.
What did you do exactly? Did you tell your AI like, "Hey, go out and find some stories for me to post because I'm lazy. I'm a lazy AF," or what?
No, I created a tool, which I've actually shown you, AI copy tools, that it's just trained on there's 4 different writing styles I use. One of them is called the clear copywriting style, which is what that's written in. One of them is called the pattern interrupt. Then there's a viral thread. Anyway, there's several ways. And what I did was I took my top performing content and I trained the model to write like me in those styles. So I took my top performing, and here's the thing. I know how to write a bad post. I've written thousands of bad posts. But my AI, it's only been trained on my most viral content over the past 10 years. That's what I'm talking about, the advantage of being a marketer, okay? Or the advantages is having data. You don't have to be a marketer, you have to have data. So like one of them is called the pattern interrupt. It's actually a combination of my copywriting style, but the copywriting style pattern interrupt is something that I learned from another person. His name's Luke, and I took Luke's top performing content, my top performing content, put them together. I trained the AI on over 200 pieces of content that went viral from me and him using this writing style. So it only knows how to write good posts. So time and time again, I'm proven that the AI writes better than me. Out of the top 5 posts that I've written this year, AI wrote 4 of those top 5 posts that have gotten me millions of views. So, and I know that this took a little bit of an interesting turn, but imagine if you're a marketer right now and I go and let's say you have a job as a marketer for a company, and I can go to that company and say, hey, how would you like me, a proven amazing copywriter? What if I told you I had an AI version of me that you can plug into your business and I will outperform all of your marketing team right now, and all you have to do is pay me $1,000 a year? That's the reality of what we're living right now. I'm confident that I can go to any business and say, hey, I can give you, I have email, social media, all this stuff built into a tool that will replace an entire copywriting team. All you have to do is fill in the blanks. It's already trained. What do you want me to write about? Boom. Okay, what would you tell me who the audience is? Great. Any key takeaways or lived experience you'd like to add in? Put them in there. Any call to action? Put them in there. Press generate. Broop, done. And
Can you have an AI that does that for you? Can you basically create, instead of having human interface with that?
yeah, just as a
do-
human interface. And here's the beautiful thing. I train my VAs on it, right? So like I would have never had my Filipino VAs create newsletters for me or create email content for me or create social media content for me. But because all I have to do now is tell them, "Hey, use this tool," right? Use this tool and fill in the blanks. We just rock and roll, and it's simple. And by the way, every company right now should absolutely think about how you can create tools. And here's what I like. A lot of people, they're trying to make one AI that does everything. Don't. Make one AI with specific training data that does something really good. All right. So like here's what I'm talking about, for example. So like this is the AI copy tools app I was telling you about that wrote these posts. So this is the pattern interrupt post writer I was telling you about. The one that I made on social media was made using this one, the viral social media post writer. But the pattern interrupt one is like my favorite go-to tool right now. And let's just say we're talking about the topic that we're talking about here about UBI and 40% of jobs will be replaced by AI. So I'm going to say AI will replace 40% of jobs in the world by 2030. Is UBI the answer? Okay. And then what are some key takeaways? I'm just going to give it my own feedback. UBI creates government dependence, better to retrain people. Problem is that job displacement will be massive with advancements of AI pacing. And then we'll just say what I just said earlier, which is the industrial revolution took decades to replace jobs. AI will do it in just a few years. That's it. So I can put in like, am I an AI consultant? Who's my target audience? Let's say I'm an AI consultant. And all of this is optional. AI enthusiasts, let's say business owners, people afraid of losing their job to AI. You know what? I'm just going to get rid of it. And that's what I want. People afraid of losing their job to AI. No call to action. Look at this. Write a post. And then all the stuff I've written in the past is still there, right? And cool part is I haven't even made my post for the day. So you guys are going to see for a fact how easy this works. Anybody watching this is about to get a lesson in how to go viral all the time. Okay. So look, AI will destroy jobs. You can see the formatting is a little bit off, but that's just a display error. If I go to Facebook and I paste it in here, it's going to look right. See that? AI will destroy 40% of jobs. Oh, you're looking at the wrong. Hold on one second. Let me share my other screen. So AI will destroy 40% of jobs by 2030, but most people think UBI is the solution. How to prepare for massive job displacement in 3 steps. The Industrial Revolution gave us decades to adapt. AI won't be that kind. We're looking at the fastest job displacement in human history. While politicians debate universal basic income, here's what's really happening. AI advancement is exponential, not linear. Entire industries will vanish in 2 or 3 years. Retraining programs can't keep pace. The UBI trap creates permanent government dependence, removes incentive to adapt and grow, ignores the human need for purpose. The better approach, massive training initiatives starting now, focus on AI-resistant skills, hybrid human-AI collaboration roles. Here's the brutal truth no one wants to hear. The people who survive this transition won't be the ones waiting for handouts. They'll be the ones who started learning AI collaboration skills today. The displacement is coming faster than anyone predicts. Your choice, become AI's partner or become obsolete. The window to prepare is closing rapidly. There it is. And guess what? You know what I do just to make things cooler, right? Watch this. Let me see if I can switch to a different tab. Okay. I'm just going to go to Google. And if you want to know how to really reinforce what you're doing, AI will replace 40% of jobs. Oh, look, it's already a top search. Look at that. Here's AI coming for your job 33 minutes ago, right? Oh, no, 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 no. I want something that's got a massively nasty headline, like super nasty. I'm going to hit news. I like to find a good article because then you're looking at more of an authority based, right? Microsoft research revealed the 40 jobs most exposed to AI. That might be good. Oh, I like this. So I'm gonna just close this to make the screenshot look a little bit better. There we go. Then what I do is I just take a little screenshot of the article. Okay, I come back into Facebook. I paste that bad boy in and I hit next. That's literally how it is. You know, you want to share it to a Facebook group or whatever, go for it. Enjoy. Right? Done. And here's the thing that I've learned. I don't even know, like I used to back in the day. We'll come back at the end of this podcast and see how it did, by the way. Okay. Who knows? It might suck. By the way, they're not always grand slams. Okay. That's not how the algorithm works. But what I will say is that for most people are not being consistent on their content game. And back in the day, I used to have like here's what my plan, like, I know what topics I'm going to post about. I have what I call my 5 pillars, but for me, my 5 pillars are: I do AI content, I do project management and leadership content, I do virtual assistant content because I have a virtual assistant company. I do sometimes I put in like remote teams and management type stuff. Then I have my marketing stuff because I love marketing, and then I talk about personal branding and copywriting. Those are pretty much the 5 things I talk about.
Is that all the same channel, or do you got them separated in different channels or groups, or how do you
Those are just
split?
the things that I speak about intentionally as part of my brand. Those are my 5 pillars. That the way that I do my content strategy, I call it the core branding method, is that everything that you post online is either reinforcing your brand or it's hurting your brand. And I do a little bit of hurting brand too. I talk some politics and stuff, but at the same time, like, it's also reinforcing my core beliefs, right? So it's kind of like that thing, if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for anything, right? If you don't
Mm.
stand for something, you'll fall for anything, right? People feel that, like, they want someone who they want to know. They might not even agree with you or like your opinions, but at least if you're a person who with conviction that stands up, they respect you for that usually.
Yeah, well, also, you have to have the talking points have to not be the parroted talking points of just other people. Like when you ask, "Well, why do you think that way?" You gotta be able to respond with some give me some baseline for that, not just kinda like, "Well, that was what my professor told me in school, and I believe everything my professor says because I went to the indoctrinated college of University of Indoctrination." You
Right.
know, right? Because that's just like that's a really thin conversation to have with people.
And I think one of the main problems we have right now with AI in general is AI slop. You'll notice that my content right there, that was good. Like, I actually enjoyed reading it myself. And if you can't, if you go into ChatGPT and tell it to write something and you like, I wouldn't read this myself, like, why? And you'll notice that I read it out loud to myself before I post anything. I always read it out loud to myself, because if it's hard for me to say out loud, it's going to be hard for people to read in their minds.
Mhm.
So, of course, again, all these AI tools are already trained on my own writing style and the style of people that go nuts all the time, like email copywriting tools and social media and whatever. It's like this is something, I'll tell you, if you're a business owner listening to this show right now, you should have data readiness, data preparedness as a number one action item in your business. Do you have all your top performing emails? Do you have all your top performing sales letters? Do you have all your like, everything should be in a Google Drive or a Dropbox, neatly organized and said, here's my top this, here's my top that, because you can use this as training data to train your AI models so that it can do all the work for you. And I feel like people still right now, they're working too hard. And you know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm preaching to the choir with you, like you're Mr. AI. But like, most people, I just got off a call. I won't say who the call was with. Let's just say it's the number one COO resource mastermind online. And I was very intrigued to find that in 2025, almost 2026, I did a poll in of the group when we started and said, how much of your team has integrated AI? Like, what's your AI readiness? And I gave them some very specific definitions on what that meant. And 50% of those people, and we had like 80 on the call, said anywhere from 5 to 15% in 2025. 3 years after ChatGPT's come out. In November 2022, it'll be 3 years. So we had a bunch of people, we had, probably 20, 30% that said like, hey, 70, 80, 90%. One person said like 95%. But to this day, most people have still not figured out a way to integrate AI to their workflows. And here's the crazy part: 95% haven't figured out how to make money with it yet. That was based on an MIT report. I'm just the messenger.
I wanna ask you a question, Jeff, about content. It's been my hypothesis after watching this evolution of AI and content and marketing and everything else, and also seeing things not just in my business, but in other people's businesses, that content is becoming yeah, I used to say content was commoditized, but I don't think it's a commoditized because you can sell commodities. I don't think you can sell content anymore. I think it's really hard to sell content. I think you can sell services. I think you can sell SaaS. I think you can sell a solution, like you said earlier, to somebody's problem, like whatever their burning problem is right now. If you've got the solution, that's cool. But I'm looking at this content game and saying, with what you just said, with posting really good content, it's going viral. Like, where do you think we're going with this? Is the next big wave of monetization going to be everyone putting out content that's AI generated and trying to make a few dollars off the advertising, or
That's only able to happen now because everyone's getting into it, especially like all they have to do is go to aicopytools.com and they buy you can go viral every day. You know, like that's not a claim. Like you have to
click
have
the link in the description.
aicopytools.com. Which funny story, you can't even buy it right now because we do like a monthly webinar, so it's like a closed registration. But if you guys want it, message me, I'll hook you up.
Even more scarcity. It's like, this guy's a real marketer, right?
Well, it's real, it's genuine. So PL, you know Daniel Giardo. So Daniel Giardo ended up buying AI Copy Tools. He's a 50% partner. I mean, and this might be the most intriguing part of this conversation if people are into this stuff, if they want to learn what it's like to sell a business and deal with partners. But when he bought the company, he also owns PLR.me, which is the #1 private label rights company. They have like 400,000 subscribers right now. And so when he bought AI Copy Tools is because he wanted to integrate it into the platform and sell it there. And I said, well, that's great, but I want 50% of the sales, right? He just wants to have something great to sell people. I'm like, I want an audience to sell it to. So literally we bought it and then he closed it so that my people can't even buy it anymore. It has to go through him, right?
Mm.
So that's why it's closed. It's not fake scarcity. It's because he wants to control who buys it because it's his. That was part of the agreement we made. So like he already has an audience he's selling it to, right? So my job is to do the webinar, to get people excited, to develop out the tools, to work with his development team to integrate the tools into their platform.
Mhm.
So like that's my role now, which is weird as a marketer because I'm used to being the guy who gets people to show up to the webinar, right? So he's doing that, and I'm just the cash cow who shows up and demos the tools like I just did, and then I mean it's the easiest thing to
You're
sell.
the dancing monkey, man.
Yeah, I'm the
Just
dancing
say it.
monkey.
You're the dancing monkey.
Yeah, Daniel might as well just have one of those boxes that does this, and that's me jumping around doing this to people.
Right.
Right.
Oh, that's so funny.
I'm the dancing monkey who goes around asking people. That's my job, and it's funny because I've never been that way before, and now I'm happy to do it because like I enjoy, and the cool part is like I enjoy going on trainings just like I did for you. Like literally my webinar is just showing them how the tools work, like calling on people to do it for them and then saying, "Would you like to do this in your business? Click here."
So this is actually the easiest time, probably in all of history, that you can make money with AI because there's
Really.
so much, or I should say, so little adoption in people's businesses.
And it's like a magic trick
Yeah.
because you could show them results instantly. And AI is the only technology that I can think of ever, and correct me if I'm wrong, George, or anyone on here, feel free.
Posted the
I know, yeah. You know what?
and right now, correct.
I'm gonna give people my phone number on here. This is my real cell phone. I don't know who's gonna listen to this, but I'm gonna give my cell phone 5997. No, I gotta put the area code in there. 971-599-7704. That's you've texted me. That's my real number. Um, 971-599-7704. I want you to text me any app, first off, that you saw that writes as good or better than that. Second thing, I want you to tell me what other thing in your life have you ever purchased or know of that saves you time, is practically free to use, and makes you money. I'll wait. Like AI is the most incredible technology because you can use ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Perplexity. You can use all these for free. I mean, think about how many AI face app tools went bye-bye 2 months ago when Google Gemini released Nano Banana. And it's like, here, upload a picture of me and make me underwater with bubbles. And it looks like
That's where I was.
loves you.
That's where I was going with all these micro SaaSes because people are putting these micro SaaSes, which are just it's kind of like the Amazon situation or eBay situation where people used to be like, I got a really cool product and it's selling. And as soon as Amazon or eBay sees that you're selling it, what do? They knock you off.
Yep.
Or worse, you have 25,000 other people trying to knock you off when they see your
Yep.
rankings go. So like creating a sustainable product that's going to be around for a long time, like I think I don't know, man. What's your thought about?
It has to be results based. It has to be results based. And there's going to be competition because now AI is so good that you can give it a website and say, I want to make something like this, but my own, make it. AI will be able to clone anything. It already exists and it's only getting better. So I'm gonna say something a little unconventional that I think is the most important thing you can do right now in the age of AI. Number one, you need to build a brand. People do not know who to trust. Everyone's posting with AI. They don't know who's real, who's not, who's an expert, who's not. You can use a ChatGPT. One of my students in the AI, he's actually a consultant, one of our AI consultants. He's created a AI persona, which is basically an AI chatbot that is specifically a coach for anything in life. Like it will literally coach you through anything in life. It asks you hard questions. It makes you dig deeper. It's made me cry. Okay. Like it literally dug so deep into a situation I was dealing with that it made me cry. I was like, it really understands me. Right. It gives really unfiltered advice. It's not like ChatGPT that just tells you whatever you want. Right. And I can guarantee you that if you want to be an incredible top 10 coach in the world right now, all you have to do is type in the questions that it says to you, and you say it to your client, and then you type in their responses, and then you say whatever that comes back, and it's going to make you seem like the best coach in the world.
You don't even need to type it in anymore.
Yeah, you can
It
totally
just
not even type it
transcribes it
in.
live.
So, what does that mean? People don't know who to trust. So you need to be the person, the expert that people trust. Secondly, you have to build a community. You have to do permission-based marketing. You have to build a newsletter, a community on Facebook, a community on School, a community on Circle, wherever you want to build your community. You need to build that community, your email list, your social media content, your following base. And the reason why is because we're at a massive trust deficiency. I know that that's kind of been a theme this year. You've heard it. We are living in a massive trust deficiency. Nobody knows who to trust. And ironically, I think it's probably the most important time to be human right now in the age of everyone trying to AI automate everything. Like right now, people want to have that human connection. They want to know that this is actually you. Like, so I obviously sell how you can get AI to write like you. If I didn't, I wouldn't even let anyone know that that post was AI, and they would never know. I have to this day, people don't know if it's written by AI or not. People guess.
What about does that erode trust? Because after Sora came out with really, really good facial recognition, meaning like it looks like the person. And I've seen your post too, Jeff. I mean, like, no way, you're really doing that? I see people jumping out of airplanes, doing stuff that's like it could be done, but how much of that is that going to cause a problem later on when with these community members say, all that stuff that I saw on your channel, like that's not you at all. You don't drive the Lambo. You don't do this other stuff,
Mhm.
or you're not, going out on these expensive vacations. Like that's really not your life. Your life is still in your mom's basement, hanging out on a computer
And
and with a Fu Manchu, with corn in it from the tacos you had earlier. Like I'm not saying you, Jeff. I'm
and
just
now with
saying,
AI, by the way, right? You could just invent yourself in a Lambo at any time.
yeah, how does that help with the trust as far as building a personal brand? Is that going to come back and bite us in the ass later?
Yeah, I think that people are going to be damaging their brand if they do that. Like if you are making inauthentic content that There's a you know what? Let me share my screen again. I want to share with you guys the difference between doing AI content that's authentic versus AI content that's not, right? So if I click on my profile here, um, I have a post that I just made. There it is. So check out this post. So remember I was talking about taking a picture of you and putting it underwater, right? So right here, step 1, go to Google. Step 2, upload your photo. Paste this with the photo, hyper realistic, whatever, and it comes out like this. You know, it's funny. My wife never even looks at my content, but she actually was like, "Whoa, that's a cool one that I would use." And I have 64 comments of everyone else posting their version of it with their photo. Even Chad Thibodeau, who took a picture of me and him together from an event last week and putting us underwater, right? And I have to say that's a good one. You know, like everybody's learning, everybody's growing. Now, this is a useful brand building version of using AI because it's authentic. You know, there's always someone who has to throw in a Trump. There's a Trump
Right,
element.
right.
But but this is a useful way of using AI. Now, you could even question this one.
Following breaking news in San Francisco, a Tesla sedan has apparently gone rogue on the Golden Gate Bridge after its self-driving system took control. Inside is technology expert Jeff J. Hunter. As you can see, he's distraught, his hands off the wheel, and the car continues northbound in autonomous mode. California Highway Patrol units
Is that back to back? What was that, man?
I don't know.
It's like I know that was AI now. I
It
fixed
took like 7 tries for Sora to make that right. Even that, there was like 2 police cars, one of them was driving backwards. I was like, "You know what? It's good enough," you know?
Yeah,
But
only in
the point
Hollywood
was, like,
movies, man.
that's using AI for comedy, right? That is what I would consider AI slop, right? But at the same time, it's made for humor, it's made to build the brand and funny. But if I was trying to post a fake picture of me with a Lamborghini, let's say a 1993 Countach or something cool, you know, where you couldn't even see out the windows, and, like, that's inauthentic. Now you're fake and phony. So I think again, you can use AI, but it has to be in an authentic way, and it still has to be you. Like if you didn't notice, even when I used AI copy tools just then, I put my takeaways in there from my perspective. I said UBI is not the answer because. I said that jobs are going to be replaced because. I said that this is what you should do. And then it expanded on that, right?
Mhm.
So it's still my opinion, it's still my viewpoint. And there's lots of times where, like, luckily for me, I read that and I was like, wow, that's like 100%. But sometimes it's like 90% and I have to change a couple words or input a couple facts or maybe add a lived experience. But I think for most people that are living in today's world, they're using AI. Let me give you an example. You see the person who never posts on social media, ChatGPT comes out, now they're posting every day and they're using hashtags, which you know they have no idea why they're using hashtags. They don't even know what they are because they're copying and pasting from ChatGPT and it's hurting their brand. So that's what not to do. I've shown you examples of what to do, and you need to know that you should really create content that's authentic, that draws people in, and it's human. Like you're using AI to just do what you do better, not replace like your soul, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You touched on the UBI thing, and actually, I would like to talk about that for a little bit because I think that's going to be such a big part of our lives. You know, as far as that discussion, it hasn't really happened yet. Like we've heard about, the Facebook guy saying, we should, everyone should be on UBI and blah blah blah. This was like 10 years ago or something like that, 7 years ago, and it just kind of faded off into the distance. But I think it's a real conversation that people are going to have to have. I mean, if you look at the during the government shutdown problems, right? SNAP benefits, like people are tripping out on SNAP. I didn't tell you this also, Jeff. Yesterday, I went on to like a GoFundMe campaign, and I was looking, through the history and all this stuff. Like there were so many GoFundMe campaigns for people saying, if you want to donate so we can give SNAP benefits back to people. And I was looking at the amount of money was raised from these people, like tens of thousands of dollars. I'm like, how gullible are people to say that's actually going to get distributed to people that actually had SNAP benefits?
Well,
I
first
just don't
off,
think so.
this is where people are gonna not like what I have to say, and then there are gonna be people that like what I have to say. The government doesn't do a whole lot of things good at all. Doesn't do a lot of good at all. Like they're horrible at spending. Ever since COVID, actually since Biden took office, yeah, right after COVID, um, SNAP benefits have gone up 350%, and people are not getting off the system. And and sadly, it's creating a government dependence, but more importantly, and because I want to help the poor. I was poor, dude. I don't just because we don't have time. Like I was living off of a food pantry for 2 months of my life, and it was after I met my wife. You want to talk about embarrassing? It was some of the work. My wife talked me into going to the food pantry because I was too prideful to ask for money from anyone. My wife and I were on food stamps at one point, by the way, and it was not a great time. It sucked. So I have compassion. I know what it's like. But I also can tell you, being a product of the system as well, that I had a wake-up call because my wife and I didn't get married for a while, because if we got married, she would lose benefits. If she
Ding,
got
ding, 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 ding,
because
ding, ding, ding.
if I finally got a job. See, I got a job. I was going through a depression when I met my wife. I had been just divorced after 2 months of horrible marriage. We got married 2 months later. My wife at the time went to a New Year's Eve party with her friends in Vegas and never came home. So you can
I bet they
imagine.
made movies about that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was, I mean, honestly, I would love to be a fly on that wall. I'm sure she had a crazy time, but I went through a spiral depression and met my wife during that depression. When I met my wife, actually, I still had a profile picture of me and my ex on MySpace, and I wasn't trying to hit on her, but eventually I did take her from MySpace to my place. Hey,
Boom. Right. You didn't get that one from AI.
no, that
That's
was my
original. Jeff
that
J.
was
Hunter
original.
content.
Yeah. But what's crazy though is that UBI, food stamps, all these programs, once you figure out how to game the system, it actually creates the opposite of what I want. I want everyone in my circle to create generational wealth. But what it does is it teaches people how to create generational poverty,
Dependence.
generational dependence, generational poverty. They get their daughters, their sons, and it's also a reason why the marriage rates are really low, because part of gaming the system is you have to be a single mom to qualify for the maximum benefits. So it incentivizes people not to get married. It incentivizes people not to get a job, because then when you qualify for food stamps, you also qualify for Section 8 housing. You qualify for free lunch at school. There's a lot of programs, and it's, by the way, it works that way for all of them. Once you qualify for one, it's like almost instant guarantee approval into the other programs. So it's like, if you now imagine you're a mother staying home, you're getting rent 1,500-1,600 bucks a month paid for your Section 8 housing. You're getting 200-300-400 bucks in food stamps, depending on if it's you and how many kids you got. You get more, and guess what? You get more food stamps for more kids you got, right? And you're a single mother, so you get the food stamps for that. So if you went and got a job, you would lose effectively about 2,000 plus a month of benefits. That means $24,000 a year of benefits. That means, and especially if you're working at the bottom, I mean, what you'd have to, it's depending on where you live, like you'd have to get a job to get $2,000 a month to pay for what you already have right now, to make how much money over? Let's say you make 3,000, you only get to keep 1,000. Well, your incentive is to make an extra $1,000, but then you have to pay $2,000 for everything else. Like, or I can just not work and I can get everything paid for.
Well,
So
just doing the math on that, like that's 675 a week, right? So how many people have a job right now making 625 a week or more, like take home? Like, because those are there's no tax on that, right? There's no income tax, I don't believe, on some of those benefits. That's just all come from the government. That's a lot. That's like a job really that's paying you about $900 to $1,000 a month at least.
The thing that
Or
really
sorry,
bothers
per
me,
week, per week.
the thing that really bothers me is that they try to make it seem like if you're against it, you're not compassionate. I'm compassionate. That's why I'm against it. I don't want people to be stuck in a rut. I know what it's like to be stuck in a rut, dude. It sucked.
Well, this is the situation we currently have. This is SNAP benefits, different kinds of assistant programs. How does that change with UBI? What's the big switch?
I'm going to say something. It's very easy to give. It's very hard to take away. Like what you said, people are all up in arms about the SNAP benefits being taken away. And you have to think, if you let's just for a moment forget Republicans, forget Democrats, forget all this stuff, any internationally. Let's look at it from a government versus people power problem. Okay? How does the government get control over the people? It pays them. Do you think that people are going to vote money away from themselves?
Hmm. It's interesting. Most people would be like, they'd probably be resistant to that, especially if they're on some of the benefits. But if you think about it, if you're being paid by a boss, how many times have you actually walked up to the boss and said, "No, you're wrong. I'm not going to do that way. I'm against what you're saying." Like, you're not going to do that because why would you bite the hand that feeds you? Right?
Bingo.
So you're just going to go along with it and put it into like a work environment scenario.
I'm not going to get into the conspiracy theory of it all, but I do understand that, and people have people, I hate the definitions of what people painted left wing and right wing. I hate it. I like to paint the spectrum of the least government being anarchist and the most government being monarchy, oligarchy, dictatorship, right? I would put them all kind of in the same thing. Somewhere in the middle, we have what we have, which is a republic, right? A constitutional democracy where we have inalienable rights that we all are bestowed. And we allow the government to do things that we allow. It's not the government allowing us to do things. It's us. The foundation of America was we, the people, give the power to the government to do these things. And here's the things that you cannot do to us. And that's our Bill of Rights. Every human, every person here in America will have these inalienable rights. And, Benjamin Franklin said something really important when he was sending a letter to France, of all places, who were debating their welfare program, which, if you know history, it didn't turn out very good for France. But Benjamin Franklin was trying to warn and said, hey, I'm all for doing good to the poor, but not by making them comfortable in poverty, but by driving them out of it. And I don't remember, I'm trying to remember the quote the best that I can, but basically he noticed during his travels that the nations that gave rations and gave to the poor actually ended up making them more poor because it made them comfortable in their poverty, right?
Mm.
So I think it creates a dependence and then a revolt, which is what happened in France. It's what's happening now around the world. Remember the austerity measures in Europe, right? The austerity measures, and guess what happens? People come out with their black masks on and they start destroying government buildings and stuff when they start taking their money away because they run out of it eventually. Eventually, all these systems run out of other people's money. It's a funny joke to think that we're going to be able to do UBI. We can't even do Social Security right. It's been raided. There's no money in there. Like, our people our age, we're not going to get Social Security.
Yeah. That's the biggest Ponzi scheme. They put people in prison for that, but yet they're running the largest Ponzi scheme ever, But you can't sue them because everyone is being damaged equally. I don't know if you know that much either, but you can't take a lawsuit to the Supreme Court in a lot of cases because unless you've got damages above everyone else, So if everyone's being damaged equally, like, it's just hard to get around that. You can't. Who are you going to sue? You're going to sue the government? You're going to sue Trump? I know a lot of people think they can sue Trump for all this stuff. It's not his problem. People could probably sue Biden. It's not his problem either. people that you get left with this. A lot of times you got to do your best to figure things out. Hopefully you're not nefarious, in your thinking. But I mean, holy cow. So let me ask another question. That's related to the UBI side of things. When people start getting on this government, like where's that money, the government handout, like where's that money coming from? Do you think that we're going to have tokenization? Are we going to be replaced currency with a digital dollar? Is like, how do we fix this problem? Because you're right, the Ponzi scheme will collapse at some point in time, and it will collapse in our lifetime. When I say lifetime, I'm not talking 60 years. I'm talking like 5, 6 years max. Like, I think. What do you think is going to happen? Where's that money coming from?
Well, I want to go back to our initial point last time, which is my gut reaction to UBI is obviously hell no, because government handouts create dependency, right? They destroy work ethic, and they give politicians more power over our lives, because once they get the money, they can tell you what to do and what to not do. I mean, even the Republicans right now are like, well, yeah, I mean, we can do food stamps, but you have to have X requirements. Okay, well, now there you go. Now we have UBI, but you have to meet X requirements. So now there's more control over our lives. Yes, right?
Mhm.
So if there's conditions, those are controls. Those are control methods, yes? If there are conditions on the money, that is a form of control. Can we agree
Your
on
child must be enrolled in public school.
that? Mhm.
You must have you must work for the public good. Maybe you take a job cleaning stuff off the highways, which I think is better than nothing, right?
Yeah.
Um, if they're in your homes every day, which they will be, taking blood tests, taking samples, like listening, watching, connecting to your social media accounts.
Let me stop you there, because this is where I'm conflicted. Let's say AI really does eliminate 40%. Let's just, even if we just say 30%, which I think 40% is very realistic, but let's say 30% just to be looking on the bright side. Okay? What's the alternative to UBI if 30% of people's jobs are gone? Mass poverty, revolution? I don't want UBI, and I also don't want to ignore reality, right? Like, if AI is going to eliminate jobs, no, it's not even if, it's when. Do we let people starve? No. But I'm ideologically opposed to government assistance. So the problem with UBI is that it doesn't solve the root of the problem. Okay? People need more than just money. They need purpose. They need to feel useful. They need to contribute to society. A man who gets a check for doing nothing isn't free. He's enslaved to the dependence. He's enslaved to the terms that come with that money, right? So
Well, it's a contract. If you look at it, your basic bottom line is a contract.
we're facing not just an economic crisis, we're facing a meaning crisis. A lot of people who have dedicated their lives to a certain craft are finding out that AI just does it better, right? So what do we do when millions of people have nothing to do, when their skills are worthless, when they're paid to basically exist instead of contribute? It's basically a prison with a monthly allowance.
The Amish had it right, man. We should
The
all
answer is
become
not.
Amish.
The answer isn't UBI. The answer is radical retraining. That's what it's got to be. It's got to be retraining. It's got to be pushing people into entrepreneurship. We need to teach people how to use with. We need to use. We need to train people how to use AI, work with AI, and not compete against it. We need to figure out how to build a business, not just fill jobs. We need to train people how to create value that can't be automated. Well,
Where's
I
some
can tell you
examples of that?
this. It's not by giving people a paycheck. It's if you give people an easy way out, which is a government paycheck, they will pick it. It's a lot easier to get a government paycheck than to re-educate themselves and reinvent themselves, right? The same, a dependent population is a controlled population. So how do we do it? I mean, as a libertarian, I don't think that, there's 100% solution that doesn't have some sort of government involvement. But I do know that whatever solution we come up with, it has to be a solution that teaches people skills that can't be replaced by AI. That's my number one thing. That's what I'm doing right now, right? Because the dependent people aren't free.
I'll tell you, over the last 7 months, I've worked harder in my life than I probably have worked in the past 25 years. And
Same.
in that working hard, what's funny is my personal income or personal revenue that I've generated hasn't risen much. And I would say it's gone down, but I've worked, and I would say twice as hard, like 6 times as hard, to the point of being completely burnt out. And I know that there's a lot of people listening right now, they're probably feeling the same way, whether they're overworked or they're just tired of being a pawn in the game. They're starting to see the cracks in the armor, like, wait a minute, I think I'm being lied to, or whatever the scenario is. And I'm kind of over it in a way. So what's funny, this kind of brings me back to the point you were making a moment ago. I'm seeing a mass movement of people who don't just want to get off the grid. It used to be like, hey, I'm going to move to the mountains. I'm going to get my solar. I'm going to be up there.
I know you were doing it.
Yeah, I know it. Won't tell everybody where though, because we'd have.
That defeats the
Yeah.
purpose, right? Yeah.
But there's communities. Like I talked to a couple people, and I'm finding out that there are groups of people who are getting together from either 100 at the minimum to 1,000, and they're putting money together, and they're buying between 100 acres and 1,000 acres of land, and they're creating their own communities. They have their own currency or digitized currency, like their own
That's
Bitcoin
wild.
variation of that, but they're living sustainably. They're growing their own food. They're getting off of the government toxic food. They're homeschooling their kids, but they're not doing it individually, because it was for the past 50 years or so, like the whole prepper movement's been, individualism, and it's not been collectivism, because they were trying to get away from collectivism, but now they're
Right.
collectively creating communities that have the same shared values. To the same point you said earlier, you have to build a community. You have to build a brand. You have to stand for something, or you stand for nothing, or you'll fall for everything, right? I just find that very interesting. I'm wondering if that might be the solution that people need to start looking into.
That's extreme. But I will tell you this, if you look throughout history, there's always been the war between the people who adapt and thrive. The socialists and communists like to call us the bourgeoisie. The eat the rich crowd. There's always the people that they see someone who's successful and they think that their failure is because of their success. This is driven mainly by the scarcity mindset. And then you have people who just stick it out and they figure out things and they adapt. And the two are diametrically opposed to each other, because it's a toxic mindset to think that the reason why you are not successful is because someone else is. And, in the words of Thomas Sowell, envy used to be one of the 7 deadly sins, right? It used to be one of the deadly 7 sins. Now it's just now it's a political movement, envy. And I want to just warn people right now, especially those of us who are adapting and doing things, like, you better watch out. You got to watch out for your own. We had the death of the United Health CEO, where they celebrated this Luigi kid for going and shooting the dude in the back, walking back to his hotel. They celebrated. He's a hero. You have, I can't tell you countless things that are happening right now where we as business owners, as employers, as creators, and we're being victimized and we're being villainized by people who think that we're the problem. Well, this podcast is going to get me in a lot of trouble.
And you gave your phone number out to everybody.
I know. That's
Oh
crazy.
man. Well, I mean, do you think that was? I want to let's do the conspiracy rabbit trail for a minute. I mean, you already went like so far. You already went to first base, second base. Might as well go to third base, right? Do you think this was all orchestrated? Do you think that this continuation of that narrative of blaming the rich and vilifying personal liberty? Do you think that that's
I don't think it's
something that's been
conspiracy. I think
planned?
it's absolutely true. Like the conservatives and the liberals have very different ideologies, obviously. The liberals, the left, Democrat, socialist, communist, whatever. I kind of group them all in together because the Democratic Party, I mean, look at the Mondani Zoran over there in New York. He's the mayor of New York City now. He's an actual socialist, right? They have quotes of him, communist quotes. It's never my successful friends who post communist quotes on social media. Um, it's part of the Marxism. Part of getting people to buy in on this is the dehumanizing of people that they don't agree with. Hitler did it. Was very good at dehumanizing Jews, and then basically putting anybody who also sympathizes as Jews, the Jew sympathizers. You were not patriots. You were not a good German. And we have the same thing where, gosh, if I had $1 every time I look at social media and I see something about an evil billionaire, billionaire should not exist, by the way, is something that Zohran Mamdani said, that billionaire should not exist. So this is a fight. And and again, and if you don't think, and this is see the strategy, if you think the billionaire should exist, right, then you're not compassionate for the people who don't have $1 billion, right? It's kind of like it's kind of like a interesting strategy. If you think about it, it's a really winning strategy. What they're doing is just the us versus them strategy, where they make the have not, they paint this haves versus have nots, right? We're all the 99%. We're just fighting against the 1%ers, right? The 1% of us that actually provide jobs in this world, right? We understand, like, you just said you've been working 6 times as hard this year and you're barely making the same amount of money as last year, or maybe even less, right? Like, working 6 times as hard. That's what it's called, being a business owner today. It's putting up with taxes, regulation. It's putting up with employees and all the stuff that normal people just don't want to deal with. Like, I've thought to myself so many times, it would be so much easier to just fold this up and get a job. You know how many times I get hit up on LinkedIn to be a project manager again? Because that's what I was in my past life. In my corporate life, I was a project manager. That's a high in demand job right now. Okay. Like, I could fold it all up, and genuinely, I probably could have more profit if I folded it up. I got 150 people on payroll. I got business partners that take 50% of both of my businesses. So I probably would have more money if I just got a real job. So do I think it's part of the strategy, George? Absolutely. They control the school system. They control the entertainment industry. Even my favorite show, Peaky Blinders on Netflix, the very end of it is a anti-fascist thing where they, instead of painting the communists and the socialists as the fascist, they created a whole new fascist party, right? To pretend that, like, all these fascists in history were not actually communists or socialists, they were fascists. Like, obviously, like, name one communist country that wasn't fascist. Anyway, I went down the rabbit hole with you. I'll probably regret it later, but yeah, it's a strategy that undermines the freedom of capital. And as the World Economic Forum published, they will make you own nothing and be happy. That's what UBI is. You will own nothing and you will be happy.
If you can't beat them, join them. What do you
That's
think
it.
about that?
That's
I mean,
it.
you think we're gonna have a choice, Jeff? I mean, I'm just playing devil's advocate for you because I know you and I think a lot alike in a lot of areas.
Do we have
Um, do we have a choice? I mean, seriously, I've listened to my grandparents over the past 50 years or so say little things and comments, like they did their own thing, which is really cool, but they also fell into those spaces where they're like, they've been around for a long time. We're talking about someone that's been on this earth for 70 to 90 years. They've seen more than you and me. And I would say they had more life experience. They've been through they're born in the Great Depression time.
Yeah.
We haven't really seen a depression here. We haven't seen anything like that here. And people are, complaining about what we have right now. I'm just wondering to myself, like, is it inevitable? And there's been such a rise in mental illness.
Mhm.
I was talking to some people recently about this, and they're like on all of these medications for depression, like clinical depression,
Mm.
chronic depression, chronic anxiety. And it's like, what's the way out of this? What's the way out of this mess? You know?
There's a lot of people genuinely that probably just genetically, mental capacity, don't have what it takes to be successful in the age of AI. You're 100% true. Like right now, think about food stamps, the people that are on it, they're disabled. They're, I mean, there's definitely able-bodied people, but like I said, they're incentivized if they're a single mother. Someone has to take care of the kids, so that's like a default. Okay, you qualify, right? But think about this in the age of AI. If someone is an accountant and all they did was bookkeeping, they're toast. If they're a call center agent and all they did was take calls and direct things and answer questions, they're toast. So do you think that they're job skilling right now? Do you think that they're learning a new skill? Hell no. They're going la di da di da. And then one day the company, Comcast, Salesforce just laid off. Let me look. I have some stats here. Salesforce just cut 4,000 support roles. And then he made a speech about it. Benoit, the CEO, he made a speech.
Amazon just did that too, didn't they? Amazon just laid off recently.
Amazon,
Yes.
Microsoft, IBM, Salesforce. I mean, Amazon's got like I don't know, 1 million robots that they ordered or something like that. Amazon's building their own robots that do all the sorting and shipping of the packages now in the warehouse. The dock the in Santa Barbara right now. I think it's Santa Barbara. Crap. One of the ports in California is already automated. They have all the autonomous shipping container transport machines that are just picking up shipping containers and moving them around. You can Google it. So I would say that that's a skilled profession. That's a skilled profession. But guess what? All it is an AI, a human doing this. An AI can do that.
Well,
Tesla-
people are like,
Tesla.
who I've talked to said, well, I can always drive Uber if I lose my job. You're
Nope.
going to drive Uber. Uber's driving Uber.
Uber's going to be
Tesla's
driving Uber. Tesla's already got demo in Austin for $7. You can literally order a Tesla to come pick you up and take you wherever you want in Austin. So, yeah, I'm thinking about all the Uber drivers. I'm thinking about all the DoorDash drivers. Like I'm thinking about all the immigrants. Mike O'Hearn said something that's a little racist, but it's funny because it's kind of true. It's like he said, well, you know what? I'm feeling hungry, but I don't want to go out. So I think I'll DoorDash something and just have an immigrant deliver it to me. Like, when's the last time you had DoorDash and you had like an American come to the door and give you food? Have you DoorDashed anything recently, George?
I don't believe in it. It's against my religion.
There you go.
No,
Yeah,
it's what's funny is I've done that a little bit here and there, or seen it done when I was at someone's place. I'm like, where's the food? What are you doing? You're ordering food, but you know what? The service sucks. I haven't seen good DoorDash service. It's like I'd be lucky if they just drop the food there. It's usually cold. It's just nasty. And I go to some restaurants and I'm asking them questions about the DoorDash and about the
DoorDash
and stuff like that.
DoorDash
Terrible.
instituted a new thing. You by default now, the DoorDash driver has to request a 4-digit code from you before they can leave. So it forces them to actually interact with you instead of drop it on the floor and it's cold by your door. Anyway, the point is that it's going to just. The point is that America has been importing immigrants to do things that are low labor, low cost, low skilled labor, and that's all going to be replaced by AI. So now what? This is a really deep problem, and I wish I had all the answers. I wish I had all the answers, George. I don't. And the thing is, you're going to get called uncompassionate, racist, evil, greedy capitalist. You're going to get called all these names for just pointing out simple truths that people don't want to admit, which is we are now at a point in our lives where AI is going to replace jobs way faster than we can retrain, way faster than we can find new jobs for them. And who is going to take care of these people? Their families? The immigrants, they came over here. They're the ones taking care of, they're sending money back to their families. Who's taking care of them? So this is a time where you have to retrain yourself. I actually started working on a program, and I wish I would have had it ready during this show so I could drop it, but it's called AI Proof Job, and I'm working on a new program called AI Proof Job. It starts with an assessment of what your job is now, and it asks you simple questions about what you do. It'll give you a report on how likely AI is going to replace your job, and then it gives you a clear path on here's some ideas on what you can do, and it's interactive AI. So it's going to ask you questions about stuff you like. It's going to help you, give you resources and opportunities and stuff to figure out how to start making new income.
So I got a question. If you lost everything, had to start over today, there's two paths, and they're both merged together at one point, and they will diverge at some point. Okay, the first path is I need to make money today, right? I need to feed my family. I can't wait to grow my own food because it takes a month to grow food, right? Or whatever the scenario is, right? It just takes time to do whatever you do to work. I need to make money today, but will that job that I'm making money today in be gone in 6 months or 6 years or 3 years from now? They'd have to do the same thing over and over and over again, starting over multiple times, which could really like drop someone into a depressive state. What would you do if you had to start over today to make the most, I would say make the most income, have purpose, feel like you're making an impact, make enough money to actually survive and support your family if you have a family, but also know that that job is going to be there later on? Or is that just a fairy tale? Is that Disneyland?
MIT just did a report, found out of the 273 companies that it interviewed and surveyed, that only 5% of them were able to generate or recognize ROI from AI in their business. 95% were not able to determine that they had a positive ROI from an investment in AI. Think about this. The opportunity right now, and it's completely free, which is still mind-blowing, is you can use AI, you can learn marketing, you can do YouTube videos if you're completely broke, right? Or you can buy my program, for $1,500. If you're not broke, it shows you exactly. You can join my $49 a month AI mastermind, and I'll show you how to make money with AI. But I would literally go to businesses, because you know that businesses still haven't figured out how to integrate AI into the workflows. And I would literally just say, hey, I would love to come in and show you how you can use AI to take over your marketing, to do your emails, to do your social media content, to drive sales. And here's the cool part about that. It's an ROI focused pitch. You're going to help them make money. Do you have an email list with 100,000 people? You have a customer list with 500 people? I will write emails for you. And the cool part is AI does all the work. So it's very low, and you don't even have to have a lot of knowledge because the AI is so good now. There's very simple instructions you can give it to write good content, right? Hell, I have free guides that show you how to get the AI to write free, really great emails for clients. And then you charge them $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month to do this. Most companies have a marketing agency that sucks, or they hire their daughter who's 21 and still going to college to run their Instagram, and she's not getting results. It's just that she's on the payroll. There's not a single company I know in the world that says, you know what, we're making too much money. We have too many leads, and we email our clients too much. So if you can go to these clients, potential clients, and say, I will come in here. I wouldn't say work for free, but I like to do this. Hey, it's $1,500 or $2,000 a month, but for the first month, I'll do it for $500 just to show you how good I am. There's $500 right there. Do that 3 more times. $1,500 a month. Then after the 30 days, did you like it? I know I told you it's $2,000, but what if I did it for you for $1,000 a month and we just sign you up for 12 months? Yeah. Well, the first month was great. Let's sign up for 12 months. Great. I'll give you a 10% discount if you pay for all 12 months in advance. There you go.
I don't think that I've ever seen another time in history where college is free or next to free. Because with that, you even said, I'm not trying to pimp, your service or whatever, because there's a lot of different people out there that are doing it. Although I don't know that they're doing it as well as you are. But the $1,500, like you could go get a master's degree in finance, master's degree in graphic design, master's degree in even writing contracts, legal master's degree, 6 years of school or whatever to be like a really great lawyer, you know, like
And not to mention the investment in time and money to do all that.
yeah, and you can learn it so quick. You could probably go through your program and really get up to making money within probably a week to 30 days. You could probably start making
I've
money.
had people that have done it in like a day.
Yeah.
Like your results may vary, but I mean, you could probably watch 4 hours of my content and start making money with what I teach.
And there's a lot of stuff on YouTube. Let's say you don't have $1,500. If you just pick the best YouTube channels, I see these things popping in my feed all the time. Like, here's 7 things you need to learn now, or whatever. Just binge watch that stuff for a week, and you'll have more information, like you said, than 90% of the business owners out there who've spent 50 years perfecting their craft and how you can market using AI, and you'll get better results for them. I think that this is while there's a lot of negative opportunity or negative things, I think there's a lot of positive opportunities if people just get off their backside and start fixing the problem now.
Totally.
Learn something new. Get uncomfortable for a minute, you know? Don't be what you said, Benjamin Franklin was talking about. Don't be comfortable in your poverty. Don't be comfortable in the situation that you're in. Just you gotta get uncomfortable, period,
100%.
you know?
And you know what? I think that's like the perfect, like, hopefully that's the rally cry for anybody who watched the show today. Right there.
Yeah, and that's what I want you to post in the comments. Tell me how you're gonna get uncomfortable. Tell me what you're gonna do. Make a commitment. I mean, make a commitment to everybody on
I want
YouTube,
you to make
everyone
an
here.
unbreakable commitment right
There
now.
you go.
Okay.
Exactly.
How are you going to take what you learn here today, not the conspiracy theories,
Or maybe the conspiracy theory.
or maybe, hey, if you want to build a complex, let me know. I got some property. I know he's got some property. If you want to come in, let me know. I got a place for you to drop your container home. Um, but in all reality, like what steps are you taking right now to make sure you have an AI proof job? You're doing something that AI can't replace, right? So that you don't have to be controlled by anybody, especially the government. I want you to type that in the comments below. What are you going to do right now? I want you to commit. You're gonna watch a YouTube video. You're gonna watch a training thing. You're gonna join my mastermind or my course. Like for real, like wherever you are right now, and hell, maybe it's just signing up for my free newsletter, the tip.ai. Huh? Maybe it's sending me a text message and saying, Jeff, where do I get started with my phone number that I'm gonna get tracked by someone who didn't like my political opinions. Um, like I want you guys to commit and write an unbreakable promise below for yourself on how you are going to take this and apply it to your life.
Well, I would say, Jeff, how do people follow you? But I think you've already given them all your contact information along with all the websites. I love that how you just dropped it in there as content. Pepper. Hopefully
Well,
people learn that one.
it the beautiful thing is, and obviously you and I are great marketers. Like I never feel cheesy or weird about dropping links because and I know that the content we give people is actually going to help.
Right.
Like it's
It's
not
you.
like, hey, buy my thing, you know? It's like
Yeah.
if you want to take action in your life right now, step up. Here's a free version, the tip.ai. Here's a $49 a month version, school.com/AI mastermind. Here's the $1,500 course. I got a $5,000 AI certification program. You can learn how to become an AI consultant, right? George has amazing content. He has amazing programs. He has a platform that will do all the AI work for you. Like all of us right now, we just want to see our people win. And that's my highest priority right now is just, I want my people to win. Because when I win is by you winning. And I know that you feel the same way, George. That's why we're obviously doing this and we spend a lot of time together recently. But, this is a really challenging time and it's really important that you stick together. And I think if there's one thing you take away from here, it's like lock in. 2026 is going to be turbulent for a lot of people. 2025 is the execution plan. In 2024, businesses were planning and strategizing what they're using AI to do in their business. 2025 was executing. Here's how we roll out into AI. 2026, they're just starting to replace people, period.
And on that happy note, we'll see everyone in the next session. If you've been waiting for a sign to finally reset to get your foundation solid, this is it. Join our 3-day online Unbreakable Bootcamp to help you build strength across your mind, your body, your emotions, and your finances. You can go to unbreakablebootcamp.com right now and register while it's still free, or click the link in the description. Again, that's unbreakablebootcamp.com.